Welcome back to Survive and Thrive. I'm Nathan Hurd, Chief Growth Officer with the Oxford Club, and today I want to respond to a question I've gotten a fair amount of feedback on, which is when and how to retire and how to make the most of it if you are retired. So if you're thinking about retirement or if you're already retired and you want to get the most out of it, today is for you. But before I get there, let me just quickly thank you all. I recently asked for feedback about what we can do at the club to make you more successful. And I got some wonderful feedback, suggestions on the products, the services, the website, the tools and resources, and the community aspect of the club. How to interact with either members of the Oxford Club, employees of the Oxford Club, or members of the Oxford Club community. So either way, thank you. And if you have any feedback and you haven't yet sent it, don't hesitate to reply to this video or click the link below and shoot it over to me. I will take all of that feedback into our yearly planning sessions. But on to today's topic. When thinking about retirement, our tendency is often to focus on the rational, the practical side of that decision. You know, having 8 times your salary by age 60 or 10 times your salary by age 67, or whether you're single or married. How are you going to take distributions from your 401k? When are you going to file for Social Security? Who's going to file first? How are you going to take pension payments, jointly, single, or otherwise? Healthcare coverage. You know, about 15% of all the expenses in retirement for the average retiree are healthcare related. It's a huge consideration. Now, first of all, we have tons of tools and tons of content related to this, and I encourage you to go look at it right now. It's available to you at wealthyretirement.com. Also, investmentu.com is a great resource for retirement calculators and tools that will help you really dial in this practical side, this practical consideration. But I don't think in this video that's what will help serve you most. Today, I want to talk about something slightly different, which is this. Retirement is a difficult decision because for many of us, our careers are tied to our identity. And when we start to think about retirement, or even in retirement, we ask questions like, what will I do with all my time? Will I be happier than I am today? We also have fears like, will I regret this? Will I regret doing it too soon? Will I have enough? Will I be limited in some way if I retire too early? And perhaps this is why retirement is ranked number 10 on the list of life's 43 most stressful events. In fact, the statistics on retirement are not all good. There are plenty of very, very happy retirees, and there are also plenty who feel otherwise and express differently. For example, researchers at the Harvard School of Public Health looked at rates of heart attacks and stroke among men and women in the US in a study called the US Health and Retirement Study. It's still ongoing. You can go and see for yourself. Among 5,500 individuals thus far in the study, those who retired were 40% more likely to have had a heart attack or stroke than those who were still working. The increase was most pronounced during the first year of retirement and leveled off after that. In fact, the lead author of the study said, our results suggest we may need to look at retirement more as a process and less as an event. There's a couple big considerations aside from the practical, which I mentioned before, that I want to mention here. Number one, your ability to work. Depending on how physically demanding your job is, if you're in construction, for example, you may feel the physical demands aren't sustainable earlier than if your career was less physically demanding. If you worry about cognitive decline or have a family history as such, you should speak to your doctor and express these concerns and work with your doctor to determine what a reasonable timeline is. It takes some of that uncertainty out of this decision-making process. Another thing that you want to consider is job satisfaction. Sometimes we confuse an unsatisfying job with a need to retire. So ask yourself this question. If you were in a different job, would you be happier to continue working? And if so, what would that be? Explore that to determine if the job satisfaction is really the issue or if you are very happy where you work, but you are ready to retire and that's the decision you want to make. And then life satisfaction. The Japanese have a concept called ikigai, which basically means life's purpose. And one of the biggest triggers for dissatisfaction in retirement is a lack of purpose. So, what do we do with all this? How do we take some of these tough components of this decision and make the most of it? Here's the best thing that you can do is use action to help you determine what's right for you. Do a trial run. If you're working right now, do a trial run. Start volunteering in your community a little bit. Begin exploring some of the hobbies or passions that you want to pursue. Attempt to find a consulting gig, even if you don't accept it. Just go out there and see what's available if you want to try to work part-time. Or explore your ability at your current employer to scale back and work part-time first, instead of just going from full-time to fully retired. Transition. Remember, the author of the study before, they talk about this as a process rather than as an event. One of the greatest reinforcements of people who express having a happy and satisfied retirement are spending time with tightly knit communities, and especially finding people who have vitality and surrounding yourself with them. Engage with them. Oftentimes they may be younger than you are, but this leads to a much higher level of satisfaction in retirement. Be creative in retirement. You should be looking for ways to express creativity later in life. One of the greatest things you can do to keep cognitively healthy, but also to experience satisfaction in retirement. Later in life should be your most creative time. And this can take many forms, whether you are, teaching a skill or language to youth in your community in some form, whether it's some kind of art or writing. Music, it really can take many different forms, but creativity is powerful for satisfaction in retirement. And don't worry about the future as much as you might be inclined to. Serendipity should play a role in your mindset in retirement. Most of life's turning points can't be nearly as controlled as we wish or think they could. So the moral of this story is this. I suggest to you, if you are thinking of retirement, or if you are currently retired and you want to get more out of your retirement, to decide first where you want your life to go from here, and then determine how your retirement will happen and when. And the best way to get started is just to take baby steps. Retirement is not something that has to happen all at once. And it doesn't have to be nearly as big of an event as we might want to make it out to be. It can and it should be a transitional moment. I hope this has been helpful for you, and I look forward to speaking with you on the next episode of Survive and Thrive. Thank you.